Good evening, all guardians of all shapes and sizes. Welcome back to, the reset. And I'd like to welcome all the Titans and also all those other classes that are ultimately irrelevant during this time of year. So, if you don't know, Guardian Games is active, which in a brief explanation that I will go into more depth in another video, this is basically the Olympic event where every class hates the other two classes, and pretty much they only play one class for as many things as they can afford to. That being said, moving into the reset, of course, if you want to kick that off, head to the tower. There's new playlists, and the tower looks a little bit different. But going into the rest of the world, we have some other things going on. For our Grandmaster this week, it is Saber 2 for the rotational Nightfall, which this one is not at all a hard one. I'd say next to Arms Dealer, those two are both the easiest Nightfalls available this season. With Overload and Barrier Champions, Chaff No Radar, and then Extinguish, Limited Revives, Mob Champions, Shielded Foes of Arc and Void Shields, and Acute Arc Burn. It's going to be a little bit annoying because of that, because, it is a Fallen Strike, but double Thermoshock plating does counter that pretty well. But on the same note, in the Nightfall, if you wish to incorporate, you can get your hands on a new edition of the Adept Hothead, which now can drop auto-loading Lasting Impression. I rest my case why I need to get a hands on another one of these. But per the usual as well, the Grandmaster Nightfall, the Chosen playlist where you can pick any of the ones available, I believe that'll be happening next week, as we only have about 3 weeks left in the season, which means that pretty soon we'll be able to pick any Nightfall. So if you're trying to grind out Nightfalls and don't like the active strike for the week, hopefully that will be different next week. But moving into the rest of the world, nothing new with Gambit, because as usual, Crucible has momentum control first rotations, so if you wish to cheese a little bit with bows and all those, grenade launchers and stuff, that's definitely an option. Moving into the Legends tab, we have, for Vault of Glass on Master, Oracle Challenge, which means it is Time Lost Predator's Revenge available, and in Master Mode, it is Resilience-focused armor for this time through the Vault of Glass. Now, checking Eternity while we're in this area, for our weekly rotations in dares, we have taken Cabal and Zydron for our rotation encounters, and then moving into the Throne World, for Master Vow, let's see, what is it this week? Defense is down, which I believe is Exhibition Challenge? Yes, because last week was Caretaker Challenge, which is basically the same person, it's, Oracle Challenge, where the same person cannot kill the knight more than once. So you either need to limit the use of the Dorito, or you have to pass it back and forth to 2 people in every room, and some other weird sort of thing. There's ways to do it, check the internet. But as well, per the usual, this isn't specific, so it's recovery-focused armor, and they actually just did a hotfix that if you want to check out, I'll save you the trouble. They basically made it so that class item armor cannot drop. So you know how this is supposed to be the way to farm high stat stuff and get high recovery stuff? Well, when class items drop, they don't have stats until they're masterworked, in which they have all the same stat. So there's no point in that. So class items are just pretty much straight up removed from that rotation. Moving into the rest of the things, we have, for the weekly mission, The Last Chance. This is the second to last mission. I believe this is where you go into the Apothecary Wing, where you fight that one wizard, you recover the shard, and you figure out how Sephiroth's still alive, but, that sort of thing. So if you wish to delve into that, it is here. And checking with the Wellspring, starting off, we have Fell Terradiddle the Bow, so 3 out of 4 in the rotation. So tomorrow on Wednesday, we'll have the Sniper Rifle, Father Sins, and then Thursday, we'll have the Auto Rifle, Friday, the Grenade Launcher, then Saturday, it'll be right back to the Bow, Sunday, the Sniper, then Monday, back to the Auto Rifle with the Grenade Launcher Tarnation for our reset again. If I am, per the usual, if this is how it's supposed to be, you'll see a visual saying the full schedule in case my words are not accurate. But either way, into the rest of the world, let's see. There's actually not much going around aside from Guardian Games, so I can keep it sort of brief. Oh, I am not missing anything. Oh, right. This is something I said I was going to cover. The Legendary Sign-Up Battleground. Currently, it is the EDZ. I can't believe I've been missing that. That is something I needed to cover just because, the setup. But speaking of the season as well, I do believe, indeed, that we have no more seasonal challenges. They have maxed out at 10, so do not be expecting more challenges to pop up. We have what we've gotten So if you need more bright dust and if you've already done all of these, got that sweet 4,000 bright dust drop, I'd recommend somebody, go elsewhere if you need bright dust. But that being said, time to check in other things. There is a pretty high stat roll for Ada's sake at a 58, but, that isn't worth it at all. Checking Banshee's armaments, he's got some weird ones. Dual loader Demolitionist on a Ragnhild, which is not terrible, but per the usual, Ragnhild can be crafted and has a lot better rolls than this one, so this can hold you over if you want to fool around with it, but I just recommend getting a craftable one. And then a crate, a pretty good roll. Autoloader is always good. One for all, not too shabby either. Flared magwell, extended, some good options there. Good barrel perks as well. The only downside is the handling masterwork. The Vision, one of the toxic Amalon burst fire ones, an odd one because it can roll with disruption break, which is pretty handy if you're, maybe nightfalling, but there's no champion mods to benefit the use of this. But, Grave Robber, Ecurized Round, Flared Magwell, various things for range and all that. It's not terrible if you needed a sidearm, but, it's still a sidearm. Then the Fugu, I think as I like to say, Snapshot, lead from gold. A weird combo Crucible PvE roll, but of course, Synergy. A weird Palmyra, because Ambitious Assassin is good, but then Adrenaline Junkie is weird. Sure, the grenade buff from, killing some of the grenade and shooting with the rocket might actually make some pretty good damage, but it's weird just because, from there it's complicated. But moving in, we also have the class swords, which it is a perfect time for class swords to drop, which depending on the role, it could be weird. Like, I think both, actually none of these have Jagged Edge. That explains why Light.gg rated it so low. But yeah, there are the class swords available if you wish to pick them up. Like I said, they are unique to every single class that wields them. Now, that being said, Guardian Games is out, so I will, of course, be covering what it is and how it's changed in a different video. There wasn't much to do purely reset-wise this time around, as long as I'm not forgetting anything. But then again, at this point of the season, there's less and less to cover on the week by week. That being said, my name is Matt Scorpion, and I will see you in the next video.
Stop being concerned, no chances keep on passing us by.